So, so we're going to record a short screencast today, looking at what we talked about in class: Bronze Age, Aegean, Minoan, and Mycenaean civilization. We're going to focus on Minoan civilization here in this first part of the screencast. As we look at the slides, oops, sorry, wrong way. Look at the slides. Where is the slide here? Oh, the different slides. Start out by looking at the map of the Aegean. This is a familiar map to us, and remember this area here, this is the Peloponnese, or the Peloponnesian Peninsula. I'm actually going to circle this. Peloponnesian Peninsula. This region here is where Mycenae is located. Troy is located right here. Remember the focus of the Iliad and the Trojan War. Here's Crete, the palace at Knossos. Remember this whole region here is probably about 250 miles across. It's a very cozy corner of the Aegean, of the Mediterranean. There is all kinds of interaction between these civilizations. We find Minoan pottery in Mycenae. We find Mycenaean pottery in Knossos. Minoan pottery is found in Egypt, which is not on this map, but I'm pointing this arrow generally at Egypt. So there's a tremendous amount of interplay in the civilizations during the Bronze Age. Here's a better map, maybe a little bit simplified. Again, here's where Troy would be, right about here. Here's Mycenae, there's the Peloponnese, Knossos on Crete. Thera is the source, or is believed to be the source for the myth of Atlantis. Athens, a modern city, in its current location. This is where Athens is today. In the Bronze Age, it was in the same place. Troy, again, right there. Easy for a war to be fought between the Mycenaeans and the Trojans. And we talked a little bit about this, about the reasons for the war. I'm going to erase this so we can see it a little better. If we look a little more closely at this, we see there's this strait. Right? This is called the Dardanelles. And this area is where you can travel right through here, and you can actually go all the way to what's called the Black Sea, to what's modern-day Russia. You can travel a long way. And control of Troy means control of this sea passage. If you control the sea passage, you can tax the shipping going through there. So that's a key reason for the Trojan War. We're going to talk about the Trojan War in more specific detail, too. Minoan civilization, where was it? It was Crete, modern-day Crete. When was it? Probably 2200 to 1400 BCE. Arthur Evans, remember Arthur Evans, he was the first excavator of Knossos, and was really the person who gave the name to Minoan civilization. He was looking for evidence of the legend of King Minos. And King Minos is a legendary figure associated with the myth of the Minotaur. The Minotaur is a story about how Athens had to pay tribute to Knossos by giving Knossos their children for sacrifice. Remember, the Minotaur is the bull in the labyrinth underneath Knossos. We looked a little bit at palace society, this idea of palace society, which is the idea that everything is centered around the palace. This creates what we call redistributive economy. The surplus, not even the surplus, the product of agriculture was taxed by the king, and then he redistributed this. It created loyalty and control, but it also allowed for things like helped to smooth out the problems of famine, made trade easier with other nations. Palace society was all life was centered in palace society, with the king, the priests, those higher class citizens, merchants were there, artists were working there, and the palace really was the city for Knossos. We also found that the palace was the place where agricultural surplus was stored, and that the jewels of and the wealth of Knossos was stored. Here, this is an image of Knossos, and to look at, I'll make this pen a little bit wider. We see a big open courtyard, lots of walkways, elegant landscaping. Right, this is definitely palatial. A lot of areas for community activity, and also just a sheer immense structure. An immense structure where everything in Minoan civilization would have been going on. And we can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stories high. This is tremendous engineering. Tremendous engineering here. The geometry of the place indicated the high level of skill that Minoan craftsmen had. A picture of Knossos, the actual ruins. Now, this section right here, this is some of the recreations from Evans, which of course is a problem because it clouds our view of what Knossos actually was. But here we see, I'm going to undo that, undo. I guess it's not working. Let me erase that. Here we see that the original Knossos is visible here. The original Knossos is visible here. And these blocks and stonework really show a high degree of skill, for sure, in building such an ornate palace. Such an ornate palace, for sure.